So students, today I'm going to discuss on the structure of ovum. Please listen to this lecture very carefully and make the notes in your copy as well. Now, when we are discussing on the structure of ovum, we need to understand what the ovum is, where is it present, and how does it look like, and what is its significance. So let's start. What is this ovum? So students, when we are discussing on ovum, we are referring to a female sex cell, or also called as a gamete. We know that. So it's a gamete. Okay, it's a female sex cell. It's a female reproductive cell. Okay, so sex cell can also be called as a reproductive cell. This ovum, it's also called as human egg. Okay, so you will remember. Now, there is a lot of difference when we are discussing about an egg and an ovum. Now, what are the differences between an egg and an ovum? Okay, though we use egg and ovum side by side, okay, but there is a lot of difference, so I want you to please look into those differences. So when we are talking on egg, students, it is a fertilized cell, right? And it is diploid in nature. Whereas it is also formed after fertilization. So this is what an egg is, but how an ovum is different. So when we are talking of ovum, it is a non-fertilized cell, and it is haploid in nature. Okay, so no fertilization has taken place. Okay, it is prior to before fertilization. It's a cell that is before fertilization. It does not have a hard shell, whereas in the case of an egg there is a hard shell, students. So you will remember the differences between an egg and an ovum. Now we will come back to what we are discussing, that is on the structure of an ovum. Now just hold on for a second. Okay, I was just looking for my pen. Now students, when we are talking of the structure of ovum, because it's a cell, it will have a cell membrane. So what is this cell membrane called? It has got its own name, and we call it as a Whiteling membrane. Okay, so I can increase the size, right? Okay, so that you can see nicely. So here we have a students a Whiteling membrane, and inside this Whiteling membrane we have got the cytoplasm. Okay, but the cytoplasm is differentiated into two regions, and because it is differentiated into two regions, right now what I'm going to do is I am making these two regions, color coding these two regions, so that you can have a better view of this. Okay, so I have done this in red in color, and this part, okay, is your exoplasm. Okay, so we have an exoplasm, and inside to this we have what we call it as endoplasm. Okay, so the cytoplasm which you see over here, it's the endoplasm, it's present inside. Okay, and students, this endoplasm which you see over here, okay, this cytoplasm, it's also called as ooplasm. So you will remember that inner to the exoplasm, we have what we call it as endoplasm. Let me color code this thing for you so as to show the difference between the two. Okay, so I'm color coding. Let me just take another color so that it can be visible. Which color shall I take? Let me take this blue color. Okay. uh, okay, so students, this blue color that you see all over here, okay, so we have this entire thing, okay, which is the cytoplasm. It's the inner plasm, endoplasm, and this inner endoplasm is called as the ooplasm. Okay, right. Now it has got two distinctive regions, students, right? What are these two distinctive regions? Okay, so the outside, okay, peripherally, the cytoplasm that we normally see, okay, it's made up of a yolk, which we call it as a formative yolk. Okay, so this cytoplasm, okay, the one that is towards the periphery, okay, this part of this endoplasm makes up what we call it as you can just write it over here. This is what we call it as uh, formative yolk. Okay, for just hold on please for a while. Okay, let me just once again see if my pen is there. Okay, right. So we have got, okay, just hold on please for a while. Okay, is it working? What happened? Just hold on please, please hold on. Oh, it's not working. It should have been working. Come on man, come on, just have it. Hey man, Jesus, let me just do it something for our own sake. Okay, I hope I must be able to write it right now. No, it's not allowing me. Oh Jesus. If it is not allowing me, why it is not allowing me? That's the question. Now, I am trying my level best to do whatever I can. Come on, man. What happened to you? You cannot be so cruel to me. Shit. Whenever I have to teach students, it comes up with this particular thing. It's not working at all. I don't know what has happened. Okay, anyways, students, let me just write it. So there are some of these words, okay, which you have to remember. Okay, so we have the cytoplasm, and the term for the cytoplasm that we have given is ooplasm. Okay, but this is differentiated into two things, students. One that we call it as exoplasm, and the another one that we call it is endoplasm. And this endoplasm, we call it also as ooplasm. Now it has got two regions. Okay, two regions. So what are these two regions? One region that we have is made up of formative yolk. Okay, so formative yolk refers to the normal cytoplasm. The normal cytoplasm, okay, that's present in periphery. Whereas the nutritive yolk, students, nutritive yolk, I wished I had my pen working, but and it is present in the center, students, and it is granulated. Okay, it's made up of proteins and fats, and it is very less. Okay, this is it is very less in amount, and because it is very less in amount, the human egg is called as alecythal, students. So this term you will remember, student. Okay, also we can call this egg as microlecythal. So you will remember the term alecythal or microlecythal. Okay, because my pen is not working, students, that is why I'm not able to show you those granulated structures which forms the nutritive yolk. Okay, anyways, I believe you have understood it, and if in case you are not able to understand what I am saying, then please do let me know on the WhatsApp group. The Another thing that you have to remember, students, is this particular, once again, I will try, students, I'll try to see if I can work with my pen. If it allows me to do so, if it doesn't allow, then no problem. Okay. It is not allowing me at any cost. I'm so sorry. Literally, I'm so sorry. You know. So you can see one region, we have a region that make up this thing, man. Uh, it's not allowing. Oh, finally, ultimately at the end, I think I have got it. So we have got one that we call it as a formative yolk. Okay, and this formative yolk I have shown you in this color. Okay, and in between, let me just damn it, unnecessarily of no use. Okay, so we can have a small amount of yolk present, and this amount of yolk that's present, we call it as a nutritive yolk. Okay, nutritive yolk. So let me once again repeat myself, student. The outermost membrane of the ovum is called as Vitelline membrane. This is the cell membrane. Okay, inside to this Vitelline membrane, we have the cytoplasm, which is differentiated into the exoplasm and endoplasm. Okay, exoplasm over here I have shown you in the red in color, and this endoplasm, okay, I have shown it to you in blue in color. The major portion of this normal cytoplasm, which we also call this as a formative yolk of this endoplasm, okay, is shown blue in color. And the center, okay, there is a cytoplasm that contains proteins and also fats, okay, granules of proteins and fats, and this is nutritive yolk. It is very small, it's present in a small amount, and it is used uh, very early, very quickly it gets exhausted. Why? Because it is used to nourish the embryo in the early stages of the development. Now, there is the nucleus in this formative yolk or in this endoplasm, and this nucleus has also its own name. Now, what is this name, students? Let me just write the name. So the nucleus is called as the germinal vesicle. Okay, what do we call it? Is called as germinal vesicle. And inside this nucleus there will be nucleolus, okay, and this nucleolus we call it this nucleolus, okay, we call it as germinal spot. So there will be a germinal spot inside. I don't know. Once again, please just give me a second now. Damn it. Can we do something nicely? Germinal spot, okay, and this germinal spot is the nucleolus, student. Okay, now student, uh, what else do we need to tell? Okay, now apart from that, students, there are the structures present, and these structures we call it as mitochondria. So let me just draw this mitochondria. One mitochondria, I'm drawing it over here. Okay, so there can be mitochondria that are present. So you will remember mitochondria. What is the purpose of mitochondria, if somebody asks you? Well, the purpose will be in order to provide energy. There is this mitochondria that is present, okay, to the developing embryo, and it has its own DNA. Now, after over to this Vitelline membrane, students. So we have discussed all the parts that are present inside the Vitelline membrane. Now the parts that are present outside this Vitelline membrane. Now what are these parts that are present outside this Vitelline membrane, students? Outside this Vitelline membrane, we have got a region, okay, a non-cellular region which is called as zona pellucida. So zona pellucida is an important term. So I just wait a second, let me color code, or let me just take a marker. Okay, so we have got, students, zona pellucida. And where is the zona pellucida present, students? This part, okay, that you see over here, okay, with the dotted structure, students. Let me just wait a second. What I can do, I can try to decrease this part. Okay, now what is this zona pellucida? So students, this part that you see, the dotted thing that you see over here, is this all zona pellucida. Okay, so you will remember zona pellucida. So zona pellucida is present outside this layer, outside the Vitelline membrane, and it is made up of a layer of glycoprotein. Now if somebody asks you what is the function of glycoprotein, so here is the answer. What you are supposed to tell: glycoprotein, the layer of glycoprotein, the zona pellucida. First of all, this zona pellucida is also called as zona strata. Okay, and it protects the entry of sperms, multiple sperms. Okay, multiple sperms to enter, protects the entry of multiple sperms during fertilization. Okay, this particular part is going a little big. I don't know why. 20 minutes I've already taken, and that's for no use. Shit on me. Bakwas. I'm getting fed up. When the things don't go work as per my own way, it's such a bullshit. It protects the entry of the multiple sperms during fertilization, that is polyspermy. What else does it do, students? So it protects the inner content of the ovum. Okay, apart from that, it also protects the inner content of the ovum. This particular zona pellucida, student, it is released or it is secreted by the follicular cells. Well, you will remember this thing, and I have underlined it, so you will remember all of these things. Just hold on for a second. Now that's better. Okay, so we have discussed about zona pellucida. Now students, inside to the zona pellucida, we have, between the zona pellucida and this Whiteling membrane, then there is this space present, student. And this space, okay, let me just take this green color and let me take this very small. Okay, now this space that you see over here, students, okay, this space that I'm drawing in green, okay, in between the cell membrane, I'm so sorry, in between the cell membrane and this part, there is another there is a space present. Okay, and this space we call it as the perivitelline space. So here it is written, so you will remember about this perivitelline space, students. Now students, we have the cells, elongated cells, okay, giving the appearance of a radiance. And just like around the sun, you have, a kind of a luminous circle, right? Similarly, in the same way, around the ovum there is this circle, okay, which has got certain radiating cells, and that's why we call this layer as a layer of corona radiata. So this is what it is, corona radiata. Let me draw this thing for you, show it to you in a different color, students. Let me do it. Okay, so here we have, students, okay, right, so this particular thing, the layer just you see outside, okay, outside to this zona pellucida or zona strata, we have a cells, okay, a layer of cells which appears in a radiating manner, and that's called as corona radiata. So you will remember this term. Okay, so corona radiata you will remember. Okay, and this is shown in brown in color over here. Now student, the another very important thing that you need to understand is that this nucleus is not present in the center of the cell, in the center of this ovum, and it is present at one end of the membrane. Okay, it will be present near to the membrane. Why is near to the membrane? Can anybody give me the answer for this? Well, think about it, ponder over it. The reason is when the sperms are entering, okay, they have already been carried up to the ovum by so many obstacles. Now when they have reached, okay, it should be the work of this ovum, this this nucleus, to at least give some help to this sperm that is entering, so that as soon as it enters, okay, these are the barriers. Let me tell you, corona radiata, zona pellucida, all these are the barriers. Okay, so if it is able to make its way through the corona radiata, zona pellucida, it should find, easy to quickly enter through the perivitelline membrane and gets fused with the nucleus, and that's why nucleus is present at one end. And this particular one end is called as the animal pole, and the opposite side will be called as a vegetal pole. And it is at this vegetal pole, students, that the polar bodies will be present, and the entry of the sperm is through the animal pole. So you will remember this very important thing. Let me just highlight it for you over here. Okay, so sperms enter through the animal pole. Okay, and that is the only reason, students, that this nucleus, we use a term that is called as eccentric. Okay, let me write it for you. Just give me a sec. Finally, ultimately, at the end, we are done with this particular topic, students. Actually, I wanted to move ahead with some other things in the class. That's why I've just made this video for you. Oh, students, so eccentric means that is not in the center. So the nucleus is eccentric. Okay, which means it has got polarity. It has got one animal pole and the another, then that is called as the vegetal pole. So students, I have discussed almost everything with you. The one thing that I have not discussed is its diameter, right? So in your book it may be written as 0.1 millimeter in diameter, or else it can be written as 0.2 millimeter in diameter, or else it can be written as 100 micrometer long. Okay, so this can be the size of this structure of ovum. That is it for all that I had to discuss it with you. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Take care and enjoy.